Yo, what's going on, G-Dot family? It is your boy G-Dot back with another banging reaction for y'all. And today we're reacting to millionaire Justin Waller getting an interview. So I always was interested to see what he did and how he made his million. So we're gonna get straight into that right now. Before we get into it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let's go.
What's going on, man? Good. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Good.
Also, if you see me looking down, I will be partaking in a little smoke activity, but do not judge me. I will still be on point and giving a critique that is worth your time and your opinion.
Pretty good. Not too bad. Not too bad. Who am I here with today?
Justin Waller.
What has been the most amount of money that you've ever made in a single year?
5 in a year.
Do you come
Damn.
from money?
Fuck no. Hell no, man. No, not at all. I grew up in South Louisiana. There was no money around.
If you
Right.
lost everything tomorrow, could you make it all back?
Fucking right. You drop me butt naked in any city in America, I'll be hanging still in 6 weeks.
How can someone
Okay.
become a
I like that
multi-millionaire
confidence.
yourself in today's world?
I like that confidence. It's all about the confidence at the end
Hard
of the
Knocks
day.
family, we just landed in Miami, Florida, and we're about to go meet up with and interview the legend Justin Waller. For those of you who don't know, Justin owns one of the largest construction companies across the United States. And he's quickly became one of the most renowned entrepreneurs in the entire business world. So we're gonna
One thing people always forget, I didn't mean to pause so early, but one thing people always forget is you can make a lot of money online, don't get me wrong, but trades is where it's at. Like, not even working a trade, but if you can start a business and have people work under you, like business where you lease out mechanics, or you lease out not engineers, but you lease out plumbers, or you lease out someone that's good with electricians, and it's good for you because that's always going to be in demand. So you're always going to be able to get money from that, especially with construction. Like, there's always going to be construction. You have a good reputation, you build it up, you can make a lot of money from that. It may be a little more difficult, but you want to look into expanding into a field with being an owner, not the worker. That's the best way I can explain it.
meet up with Justin and ask him how he was able to grow such a massive company and his best advice to everyone watching trying to become millionaires in 2024. So with that being said, let's go see what Justin has to say. All right, you guys, so we're on the way now to meet up with Justin. We're pulling up shortly. I can't wait for the game that I know that he's about to deliver. This is going to be $1 million worth of game from Justin Waller. Pulling up
For
in
sure.
a second. I can't wait for this one. What's going on, man? Good. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Good. I've been good. Not too bad. Not too bad. Who am I here with today?
Justin Waller.
What industry did you decide to pursue a career in?
Yeah, so it started off in steel. I was 24, started hanging steel locally in Louisiana. Now
Okay.
we have over 200 men, coast to coast, California to New York, Caribbean. We'll put steel up on the moon.
How long have you been in construction for?
I've been in construction 15 years next March.
Everyone has that focus been becoming an expert as opposed to trying to diversify and jump from industry to industry. How important has it become for you becoming a master, one of the best in the world at one thing?
Yeah, I think if I would give my young self credit for anything, it would be that I stayed in the same fight. A lot of people, they go
For
in
sure.
their career, they start getting banged up a little bit, and then they change directions. But what they don't understand is they're going to take the beginner's licks of that new industry. So if I did
Right.
anything right, even though the model might not have been the model that I think ultimately I'll end up in, I stayed in the same thing long enough to make substantial money to create freedom. If you can create freedom, then you can go start watering other plants. You see, we only
That's
get so
true.
much energy,
That's factual.
right? And so you have this cup of water, let's call it your energy. If you pour it over too many plants, you'll never bear fruit on any of them. So
That's
the
true.
one thing I did right was stay in the same industry for a very, very long time. And now I can branch out, do other things, grow other businesses, look at other business models that might be better off in the long run.
Now, I do believe there's a pro and a con to what he's saying. I do believe that you need to focus on one main thing that you're trying to expand on and trying to get money from. For example, I do a lot of things, but one of the main things I do is social media, because I use social media to funnel all of my other businesses and all of my other memberships, mentorships, whatever I might be doing, whatever I might be trying to sell. So that's one thing that I focus on, but I do have my hand in other things. I agree with what he's saying, because you got to be a master of your craft before dibbling, dabbling in other things, but I don't feel like you should limit yourself to one thing before you go branch off into other revenues or avenues of getting money. I believe, you can have your hand in maybe 3 things at once, 2 things at once, but I feel like you should be going hard in one and dibbling, dabbling in the other 2. That way, when you're done with the first one and you acquire the knowledge for that, you already have the experience, beginner's experience, at least for the other 2, to dive deeper into it with the revenue to actually make some money from it.
Do you come from money?
Fuck no. Hell no, man. No, not at all. I grew up in South Louisiana. There was no money around, I can tell you.
South
What was that
Louisiana, not a
turning point
game.
like for you? Like, how did you know you wanted to get really serious about becoming financially free and building that long-term generational wealth? What was the turning point like for you?
Well, I think what happens is when you're in a situation, any situation, and this is not uncommon, you either become the situation that you're in, the atmosphere, or you decide that you want to do anything but be in that atmosphere.
Factual.
So for me, it was a pretty easy decision to make, that I just wanted to find out what else was out there. I knew what I didn't want, and so it put me on this path to finding more and more consciousness. And as I come across those things in my growth and whatever I do,
Right.
as far as the
Talk to 'em.
level of obtainment of my goals I hit, every time I get to the top of a mountain, I'm constantly looking for the next one. And so I think there's 2 things. You run away or decide not to be what you were a part of, and then 2, on that path you find more consciousness, which kind of controls your direction you go. And once you identify those things and you identify that you can do those things and you get on that path, generally the happiness is on the climbing part. Just
Right.
make sure you're looking for the next one to climb, because you can get in trouble if you get to the top and you have nowhere to go.
Hard Knocks family, we're about to get right back to the interview.
Dropping a lot of
I have
gems
very
though.
special
Dropping a lot of
announcement
gems though. Shout outs for you for the announcement, but you know what I'm saying? We didn't come here for the announcement. I personally didn't. You want that motherfucking promo, you gotta, excuse me, you want that MF and promo, you have to pay me for the promo.
a lot of money to start this company, or how did you get the money to start this business?
No, man, we didn't have any money. So what I had to do is go out and get contracts and then go to the bank and show them I had contracts and try to get lines of credit. My first line of credit was for $15,000. I'll never forget
That's
it
not bad,
because
though.
My payrolls were like $2,500 a week. I had like 2 guys maybe, and we were doing backyard buildings. And so I always say about when it comes to dealing with the banks, always go to the banks when you're solvent and you have a lot of money. But in the case that you don't have a lot of money, that's what an entrepreneur does. He figures it out. So I took my contracts that I had won, and then I went to the bank and showed them that I had a contract, and they gave me a little loan against it to get me through the first couple.
What is the secret to being able to leverage capital, to leverage that good debt and turn that into wealth ultimately?
So if you look at the real estate, I own over 400 doors now. So you can underwrite a deal, understand the capital stack, whether you're raising somebody else's money to get the down payment, and then you're going to take it to the long-term debt with the bank. You just have to be able to understand the math of real estate. What's the net operating income? What's the cap rate? What's my debt service going to be? Where are we at in the cycle on that property? So one thing I look at very hard right now when we're buying properties is like a lot of people don't want to buy properties right now because the interest rate is so high. And
Facts,
the only
facts.
fear that I would have is that we get to the end of a 5 to 7 year arm and we're in a 1980 situation where you go from 7.5% or 8% to 16. But if you understand the math of real estate, it's very simple. In fact, I'd even say it's 3rd grade math. When you understand the debt service and you understand where you are in the overall cycle, like the long-term, short-term debt cycle, and you're paying attention to where rates will go, you should have enough time to make decisions that will allow you to reduce that risk. You can't get away from it completely, but you should massively be able to reduce the risk and set your properties up the way they need to be.
So my only thing with this is, the only thing I have a problem with real estate is that I just don't agree with how they're trying to, how can I put this? They're making it seem like it's simpler than what it is. It is simple, but it's not that simple. But I feel like that's like with anything, it's with life. You put the work in, you get to understand what you're doing, then the work will become way more simple and it'll be easier to do. But I genuinely feel like you have to put the effort in for it to become this easy. Of course, he's gonna downplay to make it seem like it's easier than what it was when he first started because he's got 15 years experience. But I feel like as long as you're putting the effort in, that's when the work is going to come with results, and you're going to be able to actually be a master of your craft and be this confident, because all the money really comes from confidence. If you're confident in what you're doing and you're confident, you understand what's going on, you're going to be able to make more money.
Teach that in school, right?
I've heard they don't teach that in school. And why would they? Because the system is built for us to spit out employees and people that say yes and they pay taxes, they get married, they buy a 3-bedroom house and they die. And so, no, I don't think they're going to be teaching cap rates in school anytime soon.
Right.
No, for sure.
Said that most people die at 22, but they're buried when they're 70.
That's right. That's right. I heard that exact quote the other day. I think I heard 30 and 80. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, yeah, there's a bunch of dead men walking every day. They don't
Yeah.
live free. They can't say what they want. They want to say things. They feel things. And I think that's why people resonate with us so much, is that we're getting to speak on their behalf because we're free enough to talk. Hard times right now, but we're going to turn it around. America's going to turn it around. We're going to get the right guy in the White House.
Absolutely.
And then when that happens, we got to be able to clean things up a little bit.
That's 100% true. I agree with everything he said. This was an amazing interview, honestly, and I do agree that we just need to buckle down, focus on what is going to make us the most financially free, what's going to get us the most money to achieve our goals in the shortest amount of time, even if you do got to play a long game. And, someone's shortest amount of time might be your longest amount of time. It just depends on how everything's going in your life. But I do feel like times are hard, but hard times make good people. Hard times make quality people. And also at the same time, we have to take advantage of what the opportunity of the internet is allowing us to do right now. So even though people are dead men walking, quote unquote, it's never too late to change your life. It's never too late to do something that you will never regret doing and chase your dreams. But that was an amazing interview. Shout out to our School of Hard Knocks, and I'll be back with another one. You already know, later today or tomorrow. I might post it once a day, twice a day. You never know.